Today, I'm actually going to speak on a topic that I disagree with a lot of people on, and it has to do with what to focus on when kids are at the ages of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I hear a lot of coaches and a lot of people say ball work, ball work. The more touches, the better. Everything needs to be ball work. But I believe that there was a time for that, but in today's age, I actually disagree. I believe the most important thing is movement, specifically physical literacy. And I will go into this in further detail, but it does have to do with movement, coordination, agility, and also as it relates to soccer as well. That's important is spatial awareness. So not just movement, but movement as it relates to relationship with other people and in a given space. Because obviously, when you are with other people, your ability to move cannot just be on its own independent. It has to be interdependent based on the available space and where teammates are and where the opponents are. And when I speak on physical literacy, it is not about how fast you can run. It is not about how fast you can run a 40 yards, specifically in the game of soccer, because soccer is not track and field. So you can be the fastest person in the world, and your physical literacy can be the least of a group of people. And again, this is ages 5 through 9. I'm not focusing above that. It's just 5 to 9. And I am going to start off with addressing how physical literacy can help kids in the game of soccer. So, soccer is a very unpredictable sport in terms of your movement. It's not like ballerina or dance where there's choreography done and leading up to the game or the performance, you know exactly what movements you're going to perform when you're going to perform them. Soccer is completely different where you have no idea what's going to happen. You cannot predict anything. All you can do is prepare and then hope that your preparation gives you the ability to perform on that day. So, in terms of balance and coordination, fighting for the ball, jostling for the ball, dribbling for the ball, and especially the fact that you are coming up against opposition. So, most likely, or very often, when you're performing a movement, it's not just you on your own in terms of unpredictability. Sometimes it involves the contact of another player, and this is why I believe physical literacy is important, because if you only train when there's in instances where it'll help you when there's no opposition, when you get pushed, when you get tripped, your body is only capable of moving in certain particular ways, and you do not have that ability to move in these unpredictable situations. It helps you with physical literacy, can help with quick directional changes. So in soccer, obviously, it involves a lot of side to side movement, forward movement, backward movement. And it's not 40 yards, it's more like 2 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards. And as I already stated before, it's going into strength and stability, not just for necessarily pushing players when you're when you're going for a 50-50 ball, but sometimes this can also involve your teammates as well, where it's you and your teammate jostling for a ball, and maybe you come in contact with the opponent and then you go in contact with your teammate, and then that's two impacts in the same play, in addition to, like I already said, shielding the ball, fighting for the ball, things like that. And I just want to go back on misconceptions, specifically quotes, soccer specific skills should be the focus. This is often quoted for 5 to 9-year-olds in the game. And this is something that I disagree with. Another quote stating that physical literacy is naturally developed through soccer alone. And the problem with this is that soccer alone only encourages certain movements. It does not encourage you to do to have a wide range of movements. This is why it is so important to do different things. And I will go into detail on why these statements are not true from my perspective. Other ways that physical literacy can help are when a player receives a ball in the air, when whether it bounces and then you have to adjust, or whether it is off a deflection, which is common in the game, whether it's an air ball from a long ball or from a header or from a chip. Your ability to move a specific way, and in soccer, which can often be unpredictable, because when we're practicing physical literacy in training on controlling a ball, it's my teammate has the ball in front of me, he throws me the ball, and then I control based on that straight path. So there is zero predictability in this training. Think about it. Whenever we're teaching kids how to control the ball, what do we train? We train one partner get in front of me, or my partner gets in front of me. I am maybe 5 yards apart. He throws me the ball straight, and then I make a control going a specific direction. And it's always this predictability. But in a game, you do not get balls like that. You get a ball that's coming diagonal. You get a ball that it's bouncing this way, it hits someone, and then you got to change direction and you got to control the ball. You get all of these kinds of different movements, and it's not just on your chest, it's on your foot. There's all types of unpredictability, and these are things that we do not put in our training. And because of this is just another reason why you see, for example, I love this, Zinedine Zidane. You see Ronaldinho. You see some of the first touches that they make, and you're like, how in the world did he make a ball control like that? How was he able to move his body like that? How did he adjust his body quickly? That's because they have the physical literacy. And this is what you cannot get doing basic partner training in practice. So this dispels the myth that soccer training is going to improve all the physical literacy you need. And then what this also does in terms of this physical literacy, and going back to the ball control aspect that I just touched on, is it'll increase your ability to learn complex techniques quicker. So there are certain techniques in the game that you will not learn through training. There are certain things players do in a game that are just spot on. They didn't learn, they didn't plan to do it, but they have a large vocabulary of movement that helps them to adjust and perform a specific skill that they did not learn before. And a lot of these are just off the cuff. But even as time goes by and there are more complex techniques, specifically controlling the ball in ways that you do not expect, controlling air balls that are unpredictable, even on the ground, uh, controlling the ball in a specific way. What physical literacy does is it increases your ability to learn these things faster. So if you don't have that physical literacy, it's going to take you a long time if you're even able to perform these complex techniques. And again, there's also certain skills that players perform. I'm not even talking about ball control at this moment. I'm just talking about skills that require your body to move a specific way. And the better your body can move, the better you can execute that skill on defenders. And if you're a defender, the better you can adjust your positioning and move a specific way. And what this also does, physical literacy, is it enhances your resilience to injury due to better body awareness and strength. So you have now, because you have this this large library of physical movement, you have developed muscles and strength in areas of your body that someone else who's only done one specific type of movement has not developed. So you have that overall body strength. And then you also have that body awareness. So you're able to adapt to certain demands of the game that prevent injury. And this is why I am a big proponent of players doing activities outside of the game. Gymnastics is one. Gymnastics is huge. Some people I've heard say martial arts. Track and field is one, not necessarily because it's just running. There's jumping, there's throwing, there's so many activities in track and field that are good if you do multiple events. Swimming, I've heard. I'm not as astute in the types of swimming there is, but I'm sure it helps. And then there's just other playground activities, unstructured play in other areas. I mean, just sports that kids used to do back in the day. And what I like to do with my kids at this moment, I'm experimenting with pickleball, and pickleball has so many movements that are transferable to soccer. And in particular, the instructor that I am using for pickleball has players do movements that I don't that are not even done by coaches in soccer, just because that what that specific game demands. So it's really good. And the reason that it is important that we include our kids in multiple sports today is because today is a different time. It's not like the past where kids would play soccer, but then they would run, walk home, play outside with their friends all day, the whole year. They would run over obstacles. They would jump over things. They were always outside playing. And that is an advantage of the past that we don't have today. I mean, just simple things that people used to play back then: hide and seek. You were running from someone outside in a neighborhood. You had to go through all these different obstacles, and there's several other types of games that kids used to play. And within these games, what it also did was it fostered creativity, adaptability, and problem solving skills that players had to perform in movement in real life, which we do not get today. And then on that topic, kids obviously spend much less time outside today. There's a lot of screen time from phones, TV, that are really hindering and reducing the physical literacy of kids and other areas of development, cognitively, problem solving, spatial awareness, things like that, because they're spending all these times indoors. And then, unfortunately, too, I've also heard a lot of my kids, players that I'm coaching, who have reduced recess time. So this just further reduces the opportunity for players to improve their physical literacy, which is why I advocate for kids doing multiple sports. And again, there's a quote unquote sacrifice to this, because your kid is not going to be able to spend as much time playing soccer, and they may not touch the ball as much. And I'm not even necessarily saying that a kid has to play soccer less. I'm just saying I don't think soccer should be the only thing that they do. And I think they should do other activities outside of soccer that forces them to move and challenges them in different ways that they don't get through soccer. because there are so many actions in the game of soccer that we just don't train. And you don't get enough of those opportunities in game moments. So the best way to do it is outside of soccer if you want to get that high repetition. So I don't have much more on this topic to say. I don't have the science and the statistics behind it, but I encourage you to prioritize holistic athletic physical development, particularly in young kids, because once you pass that age range of 5, 10 years old, it starts to get harder and harder and harder to improve your fluidity or ability to move. If you have not been practicing these things since you were a kid, the chances of you developing the high level of physical literacy needed at 14, 15 years old, it will be almost impossible, especially when you consider the fact that kids are being scouted at 16, 17, 18, 19, as far as whether they have the potential or not. And during these years, that's when you want to focus on other parts of the game. That's it on EvoToca. Stay tuned.